And hello everyone. Oh my god, today is the day. This is the day we've all been waiting for and excited. And I can't wait already to see what's coming up because we don't know what's going to happen today. Because this is all going to be a little bit mysterious and with a new format that we're kind of trying out. So, hello, first of all, and welcome to our new edition, I would say, of our live challenges online, which we call, Meets Live Design Challenges. And oh my god, we really don't know what is going to happen. We will find out eventually by the end of it what our wonderful speakers, designers, illustrators will actually come up with. I have no idea what's going to go on. So welcome everyone. Could you please take a moment to write in the chat where you're coming from and where you're connecting from today? That will be wonderful and exciting just to see all the wonderful places where we're coming from. Welcome everyone. My name is Vitaly. And it's not Vitaly, it's kind of always the same story. And I'm really going to be a host for today, kind of really trying to guide our effort towards something that's a bit more meaningful, better design for different projects and different kind of cases that we have. And we literally don't know how it's going to be. But I think the reason why we do this and the reason why we kind of wanted to kind of try this out to see what it's going to be like is to kind of get a feeling about what is the process like in real life? Because very often, you get these beautiful slides, elegant slides that all work about the perfect process that never exists and never happens, and all these things that kind of might happen in between. But it's always interesting to see how people who happen to be kind of working in different areas, different regions of the world, with different experiences, how do they actually work? How do they make decisions when it comes to design? And what happens in between? How do they fail? Well, I can't wait to see that part as well. So this is pretty much what we're going to look into today. Feel free to go into smash.by/live design. And let me see if I should do probably the same over here as well. You should be able to see our wonderful, miraculous Fig Jam. I hope it works for you. So I think we're probably going to be pasting the link into the chat as well, right here. So we don't want that. So these are the challenges that we have in front of us. And actually, when we look at it, what we have in front of us, well, we did some homework already. So we have 5 options. At this point, we don't know yet which one is going to be picked, which one we're going to work on. They're all very different. And this will be up to you and also up to our wonderful designers to figure out what we're actually going to work on, what we're going to redesign or change in one way or the other. Right? This is kind of the real fun part about it. On each of them, what you also find is a brief. Some of these briefs are surreal and, well, not real, and the others are actually very much real, or very much reasonable, I would say. Some of them are very exciting, and some of them are very, very boring, but real again. So we shall see what we're actually going to do here in this case. Feel free to take a look and see what we could work with. If you have a moment, right, why not? Feel free to add the brief or the client or the website or the project as a challenge number 6 and 7 right here. It's okay if it's your personal website. It's okay if it's your company's website. It's okay if it's like a big IBM or enterprise product or whatever. That's perfectly fine. Feel free to add your challenges. And if running out of space, please feel free to add another sticky note right there. And then probably not around 5 minutes or so, we're going to figure out what we actually can be working on. All right, so I'm very excited about that already. All right, moving back to the slides then. Here we go. I hope that this works. To the next slide, Amanda, as well. Also, just one thing I want to remind us that we've been doing this sort of live activities and live meetups and also conferences and also workshops and also many other things for a while now. And there is a growing community of wonderful, wonderful people who actually participate and help each other. So sure, that's another Slack channel, but that's a good one. That's a nice one. That's a friendly one. So you go to smash.by/Slack and you go to the channel meets, you will see everybody who has ever been participating in any kind of meets in the past and see, kind of talk to them, maybe also between the meets that we're kind of running regularly every 1 to 2 months or so. And next slide, Amanda. I kind of feel like swooshing and swiping and all the way. Also, if you want to share with your friends, it's always the same. We have the hashtag #SmashingConf. Again, swoosh right there, which you can use anywhere really. I think we already asked where you're coming from. I don't think I can see the chat right yet, but I will probably see it eventually. So please do write it once you're here. And of course, as we're having a conversation, as we're kind of collaborating, as we're putting even briefs together, right? We also want to be kind and respectful to each other. So we have a very simple code of conduct. Well, everybody is smashing and everybody is welcome. And so please be friendly and respectful when you're speaking to other people here in the chat, or also leaving comments in FigJam and so on. Swoosh right there. And what is then going to happen today, you might ask? What a brilliant question that is. Well, I answered already. We don't know, because in the end, it will be up to these three wonderful people who are going to join us, Christine, Oliver, and Pablo. Do you lurk somewhere in the background by any chance? Christine, Oliver, Pablo, can I hear you? Can I feel you? I can feel you. Oh, Christine is here.
Hello.
And Babs is here as well.
Hi.
Hello.
Perhaps
Hello,
you
hello,
change your
hello.
name
You're in the
again.
show, it says. Okay.
Maybe just change your name again. Right, well, so my dear, it's so wonderful to have you here. First of all, just a brief introduction, and I don't want to go to all the wonderful, wonderful honorable mentions about all the incredible work that Christine and Pabs and Oliver have been doing over the years. But Christine is incredible Figma magician. Can I say that? Not only that, also incredible designer, has running a wonderful series of courses on moonlearning.io, which I highly encourage you to join, and also happens to be speaking. And what a wonderful speaker Christine is, and designer too. Then we have Oliver. Oliver, sending a virtual hug over to you to that screen because you happen to be here, right? Hugging you. Oliver cares a little bit too much about typography. And when you have a conversation with Oliver, you will find out very quickly that he has very strong opinions about typefaces and typography, and he will tell you exactly what he doesn't like about not you, but typography and typefaces, but also line height and everything in between. So I'm very, very excited to have Oliver. Also runs a wonderful YouTube channel, which you should not forget and always subscribe, because this is fun and type and Oliver in one place. Kind of magical to me. And then we have Pablo. Pablo, I would describe best as creative maniac in a good way, because every time I see Pablo doing something, on the wonderful videos that are coming up from Pablo, of course, he's always somewhere, always doing something, always experimenting, always trying something really creative and weird, but in a good way. Right?
Thank you. That's really kind of you.
But that's true. Pablo.
Yeah, I'm weird and apparently hyperactive, and
that's a wonderful thing to have. So how are we doing, everyone? Now that I see you all together, are we excited?
Really good, really good.
Okay, I'm going to admit I actually don't know what is happening. Like, is this going to be like are we fighting? Are we gonna?
So Pablo, here we go. Right, this is how you should know how this works, right? Usually Pablo agrees, and then we figure out like 4 minutes before what they should.
Yeah, but
so the way it works is easy. It's simple. We don't know what's going to happen, but you are going to make things happen. All of you wonderful, wonderful people here, because we're going to pick together first a challenge on what we want to design. Now we have again a couple of briefs already. We also maybe have, and we'll be looking at that in a moment on FigJam, a couple of other briefs, new briefs, and we'll have to decide which one you want to work on. We will start with Christine, who is going to be kind of starting off by looking at the brief and figuring out what to do there. Then I need to double check, by the way, what's the schedule? You think I'm well prepared? Well, think again. We don't know what's going to happen. And then second, I believe, will be Oliver, probably bringing type ink action. Then we have Pablo bringing everything live with wonderful, funny, quirky animations, right? Pablo, right?
Yes,
Pablo,
yes,
right?
yes. Let's do it.
Yes. All right, excellent. All right. Do you think we're ready for this?
Of course we are.
Like the first time ever, and maybe the last time as well. We shall see about that. All right, well, let's see. There's a lot of potential in here right now. All right, so I'm going to start sharing the screen now again. Let's go and see what we've got. So this is where we are currently. So we have the challenges. There are apparently now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different options that we can choose from. All right. So these options are all very different, right? That depends on the mood that we'll have. I think that one main rule of this is that we all, as the team, right? Well, you all, not me, have to agree on the challenge that we actually want to take on today. So it cannot be just one person's preference. All right? Should we go through all of these options?
Sure, because then I don't have to read them.
Sure. So the first suggestion was from earth.org, which would be a landing page update. Well, let's take a look at earth.org. Okay, looks actually perfect already, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that
if it's not broken,
why
fix it?
News.
We break it, I guess.
Let's break it. Exactly.
Not break it. It's Earth. We don't break the Earth.
Okay.
We have a pop-up.
Let's hope so.
Yes, I think at Audible you can probably just... Do you think there is a potential for typography improvements?
Oh my God, there is a lot of details that can be tweaked. My type sense is already going crazy about the display fonts in smaller sizes. Ooh.
Okay, I can see your excitement right there. Christine, what do you think? Does it require a little bit of love?
I'm just getting nervous because Oliver doesn't know yet that I use pop-ins for absolutely everything I design. So this is going to be a tough one.
That's fine.
It will have more personality than Christine.
It will. We will get there. We'll get there. That's why there's 3 of us.
Yeah, and then we also have Pablo. Pablo, what do you think?
I understand where it's going. I think yeah, there are little details that could be improved, but I don't know. Is the task to improve what is already there, or is the task to reimagine things?
Let's take a look. So I think I have my postman calling right now. So Pablo, if you could read through this while I'm going to open the door, that would be fantastic.
Make it more newsy looking. Unless 2012 blog, that's right. It does look like one of those templates for those times.
Yeah.
Like a.
So
give more prominence to all the things. Right? The landing page. Update the landing page.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
landing page.
Yeah, it does feel like a WordPress template, and we could improve that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. So that's one. And by the way, dear friends who are joining us here live now as well, you'll have, of course, a chance to vote, right? We'll get to that in a moment. And then this will influence the decision of our wonderful designers about what to choose from, right? All right, so updating the landing page for earth.org. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Brief number 2 from Galactica Y Corporation. That sounds just like Pablo's alley, I think, right there. So we don't have an existing brand, but we want to have an existing brand, right? For Galactica Y Corp. The target audience are potential buyers of apartment on Mars. Sure. And also dealing with investor relations. That sounds only reasonable. There is a lot of Mars coins that we can get, so no budget, basically, and create a side page to sell the dream. Well, this is your mood board right there. Okay. Would not be my preference, I would say. What else can you do? Oliver, can you imagine the typeface?
Yeah, I'm sure I have one typeface in my head already for that one, which is Elevon, I think, from Dalton Mark, which is very futuristic and would fit very well. I think it's 5 weights, 0 gravity, best.
Beautiful.
No, or something like that. No, but it's a great typeface, and maybe that one could fit there. I think this could be fun type-wise, just for a go into the mood how it should look like.
Okay, fun is not the part of what we hear after, right?
Okay.
So right there, Christine, what are we thinking here?
I love the Mars one. I mean, just it got me with the pictures, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Vitaly. I really like the Mars.
That's okay. It's not about me and my requirements and whatever. That's okay. That's okay. All right. Pablo, I think you're going to go for it, so I'm going to just skip you at this point. All right. Let's move on to number 3 as an option. So we have a smashing conf. I mean, that is interesting. I mean, we don't want free work over here, but it's interesting. So basically, smashing conf is, well, we do online workshops and conferences and stuff like that right there, right? We have some meets, some events. We have some workshop speakers software bundle, a conference page, right? Maybe, oops, hold on, let me go back. Maybe not that exciting, but what we want to do is to create or update the landing page for all of this stuff. The budget would be around 20 minutes. Very low budget, I have to say. Okay. If you dislike it, that's okay. There is no harm in that. Oh, we have more stuff coming in, so I'm going to be a little bit faster. The Wembley Arena. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So I have wembleystadium.com right here. You can only find a way to open the link. There we go. Okay, Christine, what are you?
I'm still in love with Mars, but I can go there for Wembley.
Yeah, Wembley, Mars. Yeah, that's okay. All right.
I'm with the NGO in Mars so far.
Okay. Pablo?
Are we voting?
Yeah, I'm just just thoughts. Your thoughts on that. Wembley is okay for you?
Yeah, like any of these, I like the Galactica Y Corp.
And you definitely will be going for Oasis concept landing page. I'm sure about that.
Yeah, like oh, okay. There are other ones. We're already looking at the Wembley one.
Yeah. So it's just like just a few, right? This Wembley one is kind of designing a ticketing page with filters, a bit more technical.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. And let's go just quickly through the other two. Well, this is probably the most exciting of them all. So this is Finwiz. How are we thinking about feeling about this, everyone?
It's causing me a lot of pain.
A lot of data.
Yeah.
A lot of information.
Imagine wonderful, beautiful tables you'll be setting up there, right?
Yeah, you could do the new magic little Figma tables. That's the only reason I want to do it. Otherwise, nah.
Yeah, it's like this is the one that maybe needs the most design.
Okay.
However, when I open the URL, it looks better.
Because it's dark mode.
Yeah, I think that's just the dark mode.
Nicer.
Yeah, that's
beautiful.
okay. Really, that's just working so much better.
Okay. Well, we've got that one, but we want to make the design more approachable for new people who are coming to the product. Okay. And finally, we've got Wikipedia. I think we're very familiar with Wikipedia, right? And I guess this is coming from one of the visitors, or one of the attendees today. Well, that's what we've got. Okay. All right. So I think we should start voting, and we should allow wonderful attendees here to vote. Yaran, if you could run the voting, that would be fantastic. So we can get a sense about what the audience actually wants us to work on. Can we do that?
I'm excited.
Okay, Yaran started a vote. Oh, I can't wait. So let's see how this goes. I'm not going to vote because that would be, of course, biased, right? And you know what I would be going for. So let's just wait maybe for 20-30 seconds. And then we can actually go ahead and start. In general, though, when we actually start working on this project, what would be a starting point for all of you? So, for example, Christine, what would you start with? The very, very first thing, what would you do?
I think, well, we're skipping the in-depth UX research, which we all pretend to do, I guess. So I would think about the general, like always, but no, in reality, we always do that. I would go for the general structure, just thinking, for example, if you take the NGO one, just is there an opener? Are there categories? Sort of just making sort of almost like a wireframe, and then start, because we're designing right away, filling it in right away.
Makes sense. All right. Pablo, where would you start with? Or what would you start with?
Yeah, I'm down to adapt to anything. I'm down to whatever the workflow you guys want to take and whatever the project you guys want to take. I'm down
You are
to
flexible.
be the drummer. Yeah,
The
I can be
creative
the drummer in
I like that.
this band. I don't need to be in playing the guitar.
All right, excellent. And then I guess, Oliver, you would start with Comic Sans, right?
Always. That's the first font choice. If not Papyrus, then Comic Sans or Open Dyslexic. As you know.
Papyrus is a great choice as well. All right, great. I think it's time for us to get feedback from our wonderful attendees here. What do we want? So I think, Karen, you can close the vote, unless I have to vote on something. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm done. Let's see what we've got. Ooh. Oh my God. This is not looking good at all. I think we got the winner.
Oh no.
The winner goes for the beauty that we have yet to see and explore. The magnificent and one and only Finvis.
Nice.
Sorry, everyone. This is it. This is going to be the project that we're going to work on today, thanks to the glorious and wonderful feedback from wonderful people here on the call. Well, I guess this is how we're going to start here. Let's see what we've got. And I think when we look at this, because I'm kind of a little bit familiar with it, let me just guide you through this wonderful project before we actually then start, right? First of all, what do we have here? Now, this Finvis is a financial screener for investors and traders. Now, what we get here is a lot of features, but we probably should be focusing on just that part, the screener, because otherwise we'll be lost forever. This allows people who manage stocks or manage portfolios for other people to monitor the market, right? And specifically to see what trends are happening and what is happening, how things are changing and evolving over time. What we see here are different, filters over here. In fact, there are not just 15 filters. Altogether, there are 57 filters. Oh, I can see the excitement in your eyes right there. And each of these filters is a drop-down. And for each of these drop-downs, we have a lot of options. Okay, a lot of options. And if you want more options in your life, you can get that with this little pagination right here. Okay, that's gonna be exciting.
Oh my God.
Savory.
But this is what people chose. This is not going to look nice. Then we have these filters. And of course, once you select the filter, it gets applied. I mean, I like the yellow color. Do we feel like we're liking yellow color here?
It definitely draws the attention.
Absolutely. That's for sure. All right. And then, of course, we have the tabs. Now, what are these tabs? Now, these tabs are tabs through not filters, because they're here. These are tabs through the table, because what we're looking at is not a table with 12 columns, but a table with 57 columns, right? And each of these tabs represents a different table over there.
Okay.
That's intense.
Who put it on there?
Yes. So, okay, I think at this point we just better get started. What are we supposed to do again, by the way? Hold on. The goal of the project is to improve the UX of the offer and provide a first-class digital experience, especially on mobile? What?
What?
Okay, so let's see what it looks like on mobile then. Oh, lucky us. Not great. It's not responsive. Yeah, so we have like 2 hours to work on this. Fantastic. Okay, let's see what we can do here. The goal of the project is to improve the UX of the offer and provide a first-class digital experience, especially on mobile. Business-wise, the company wants to bring as many people as possible to the elite level, but also reduce the time needed for new users to learn how to use it. Elite level is the premium product that they have, which is basically a subscription. Where is it? Well, here, I guess, which costs $24.96, right? And you get what for that? More filters, of course, more data, real time, and no ads.
And a faux italic.
Yeah, well, that comes at a price, of course, right? Okay,
Oh
so I
God.
think this is what we have in front of us, so we better get started somewhere. I guess we should be focusing on mobile. Oh, this makes me feel a bit daunting. All right, so what are we thinking, everyone? I think at this point, Christine, you'll have to take the lead.
Great.
I'm sorry.
I think you
So,
have to share what's going to happen.
yes, so
I'm gonna
basically what
share my
the goal would
screen.
be, so we start usually maybe from a blank screen or blankish screen, and then let's see what we would do with it. So basically we need to translate it in some way. But I think the goal that we have here, by the way, is to help people who are just coming to this for the very first time to kind of get somewhere. Because right now, I think, like, from my perspective, the main challenge that we have here, really, seriously, is that we're just throwing everything to people. Like all the filters, all the data, but there is no relevance to people there at all. Because they probably come in with some sort of portfolio or maybe some stocks or something. And for them to get anywhere takes a lot of time. So I feel like this is an onboarding problem. What do you think?
Yeah, I think has to be simplified pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
How to approach it? I mean,
I would think I would first of all look, because I'm not really familiar with that sort of products. Like, it's nothing I use much. So I think the first thing I would do, I just chucked it into ChatGPT for a moment, telling me what are the competitors, and then see if someone already came up with a bit of a cleaner solution, not to copy it, but to sort of get an idea about how to even go about, and then throwing out pretty much. I mean, how many filters are there? There's, I think, more than choosing the main 7 filters. Maybe we don't even have to choose that because we don't know about that subject. I would choose the main 5 to 7 filters, and then have a more menu that would then be able to, like when you look for a house, for example, if you look at Immobilien Scout or these search platforms, there's a lot of filtering going on, and you will need all that filtering. But you usually I would probably look at them a little bit, how they do it and how they hide it, and then start from there. And just like, I would just take the first 7 and then take it as a placeholder, and then later say someone who's an expert obviously has to fill in which is the relevant one.
I mean, I think if we run some sort of card sorting with the users of it on filters, we can probably figure out maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 groups. That would make sense.
Yeah.
Right now we don't know. That's for sure. Like, all of them sound very weird. I mean, I also don't see any structure here, really.
Yeah, I think I cluster them, and I would
They're
just
all smushed together in some way.
yeah. So I mean, I would
maybe?
just sort of suggest the cluster and just take them as they are, and then say this is a sort of a almost a lorem ipsum sort of thing, and then say this is how they're clustered. You're allowed to have up to 7, no more than 7 main groups when you have them, so people can. There's a UX law. I forgot the name of it. Someone can put it in the chat, and then create more of a sort of a sort of a wireframe about how that would be clustered, and fill it in. And because I'm not going to find out whether the all-time high-low is super important and is something to do with the beta trades load. So
Totally. So that's also one thing. But then I think that in general, maybe also kind of a question to Oliver and maybe also Pablo as well. Like, what do we think we would be starting with? So again, it looks like, again, the task that we have in front of us, I always try to keep that in mind. The task in front of us is we need to drive people to premium.
Yeah.
And we need to do that, I guess, through the lens of getting people who are just coming to this interface for the first time, maybe for Google search or something, to relevance for them.
Yeah.
And I mean, for me, that sounds maybe like we have these massive filters. We probably, as Christina is saying, probably don't have to show everything at once. Expert users who rely on it maybe need it all the time. Maybe that's okay, but we probably don't need to show all of it, like all of the data and all of the filters at once. What do you think?
I think I would approach it in a way that, as Christina said, reducing the basic filters and there's, you know, this common pattern to level people up by showing them that there are more filters available. This would mean, in that sense, taking things away for now. Not sure if this is then any useful still, because I'm not sure about the use cases in detail. However, I think what strikes me a lot is when I'm doing a design or when I'm looking things up, especially when it comes to user design, user interface design, when you take a look at the Elite tab, it is very different. It is very, it's much slicker than the rest of the page. So it feels, okay, obviously here they want to convert, except for the horrible faux italics, but they want to make something that is much more appealing in that sense. So what could we take from that atmosphere here and put it in the actual product on that page? So this would be an idea that I was thinking about. And on the other hand, we see on the, what is it called? Screener? Yeah. In the screener, it's using system fonts right now, Verdana. I'm not sure if it's because of performance, because actually we also download the other fonts for Lato. It is they're using Lato for the other text, so they download this anyway for the navigation. Why is it so inconsistent there? So this is another question, because we have a lot of neat features that are already included in Lato that can boost the readability also of this table here, just by using tabular figures and other things, like also adjusting the weights of the typeface and the spacing, and it would be a more consistent experience across devices, since Verdana is not available on Android. It's a typeface that is only installed on let's say on Mac and on Windows computer. The others don't have it. So I would think, how could we take something from the atmosphere that is on the landing pages or on the upselling pages and put it into the product so that it's more consistent?
Pablo, from your end, if we actually want to go ahead and make it appealing, like we need to make it exciting and appealing and interesting and useful and relevant to people who are coming to this for the very first time. That might sound a bit daunting, I would say, at first. And again, if we're kind of trying to really dial up the great onboarding experience, what would we turn this into? Where would you start?
Well, I think first of all, I will move those filters. There might be a different layout that we could use. They appear on the top, but I don't know. They could be on the left, and that way it's there's one side where you have the filters. I would even just like start without the filters and focus on the ticker, on focus on the on the list. Also, something that could be done is add graphics of like the different growth of different companies, like perhaps the top 5 there, and start with that. I suppose this is the first time experience. So the first time experience is kind of weird to show all of this. It's you kind of have to know what you're looking for and have to understand what this is to even get started. I'm sure that for someone who understands what this tool is for, like they see this and they're used to it. But for a new person, there's no welcoming. There's no. It's just like you get bombarded with a lot of options and a lot of text, and and and, and I think it's like I don't know, like it's like like it was being said about Elite, where it's like it's kind of like a telling you a story of what it is. Like perhaps there's an opportunity to go there without overdoing it. You don't want it to be a marketing page, but like also this already feels like the product already, like you like the pro version of it. It's too much as the first experience, I think. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I think at the end of the day, it's just simplification. It's way more padding on the list. Like it's good use of spacing, good use of colors and typography, and potentially try a different layout.
Right. Well, I think at this point, just because we need to show something in like what 1.5 2 hours, well, I guess let's open Figma or FigJam or whatever we want, and let's see what we can do out of it. For me personally, I mean, again, at this point, maybe I think anybody wants to take a lead. Christine, are you up? Do you want to?
I can just try some stuff.
All right, let's try that. Then I'm going to stop sharing on my end.
Okay, so what do you have in mind? That I just start with a few minutes, or do you have a set time frame?
I mean, we can do this together. It's, I mean, at least
start
together.
Definitely. Everybody stay in the line, while I'm jumping in.
Oh, this is the moment where we all do this together. We're all in it together. We have only like what 90 minutes to do the excellent work and then send it to Finviz and sell it for $1 billion or Mars coins, whatever comes our way. All right.
So do you want to share my screen and then just tell me, and I just try a first sort of layout thing, and then we can take it. That's my screen.
We can see your screen now. I think from my end, just before you start, Christine, sorry to interrupt you. I think whenever it kind of comes to this, what really helps me in the process is to think about the first success moment. When it comes to onboarding, when it comes to a person who is coming to this for the very first time, we need to get them to that first success moment. Now, the question is, what is success for them? I would say maybe seeing something that is in some way relevant to them.
Yeah.
If they have a portfolio or something, they want it to be in the product and be able to track it, right? And there is no onboarding right now at all. So, yeah, what do you think? What could we start with here?
So, I mean, I would take it more from, because I said, like, this is quite foreign to me. The only thing that I've ever sort of had this experience of getting into something was like looking at ETFs. This is like in their premium one, so we don't see the filters. But I think it's the idea. I would think of the overall structure. So I would just as I said, I'm just going to sort of take raw things like this would be filters, this would be the results. I'm not saying like this is where you see this exact thing. So to just start it off, I think I would just think of the rough structure that I would want to have here. Sort of, if I'm overwhelmed, I think it's a bit what Pablo says. I would probably want some sort of filtering method on the left-hand side, right? And then I think I would also want to use some sort of filtering on the top so that I already have two categories that I can use, because if you have a look here, they have this sort of whole thing as a filter, and then this whole thing is a filter. So maybe I could just even take that away. So you would have, for example, these ones. I'm just going to screenshot that one here.
Excuse me, but shouldn't we do it for mobile?
Actually,
I can't. I mean, really, Oliver? I'm just kidding.
I think somebody wanted to really.
I think you should cut me to say you can do the mobile part then when I do
that.
Yes,
but it was
I see you later.
We need to think about information architecture first, right? We don't think about layout first. We think about information architecture first. We're organizing things properly, Oliver, not like, but yeah.
So I would like sort of just do it a little bit like this, and just sort of for me to see what sort of stuff I have, then I would just they would obviously have a completely different layout, but I would start sort of thinking how to have these things, because obviously what I want, the information that you're after, is when you filtered it. So it's all about filtering, but you want to get that sort of stuff here. And so this is where I would want my results. I'm just gonna put that in there so I have a first rough idea of my sort of clustering my elements. Let me see what else I have. So these here, I think I'm just ignoring that top bit. I don't think it's irrelevant. This one seems to be a main filter, right? That activates the subfilters. So I have the subfilters on the left, and then I have my result. And with that, I mean, we have these ones down here, but that one would be another one there. I would have to have a bit of a question mark in my head where they would go, obviously. So I would just sort of screenshot them there and maybe put them like down here for now. And then I think, or this could be maybe tabs, more sort of tab-wise. And then up here we have the main filters. And the thing, what was the relevant thing which they wanted to do to get us into their elite mode?
And elite, yeah.
Yeah, so that one, that's a little tricky for me. That I would probably, from a first feeling, I would just sort of make a sort of this is sort of the thing where it's almost like a call to action that would be, it's like the buy button, but it's the lead button. So it would be, I don't know where it would be yet. So maybe it would be over here, But I think what they did quite well actually is that you try to filter something and then you have elite only. And if you click on it, it probably opens a drop down or something like that. So yeah, so that would be my first idea. And then I would think about the structure and discuss the first structure. And then I just opened one that I really, really like. This is one that I would look at different examples. And this is, for example, one that I used when I tried to understand ETFs as a beginner. And I thought this was the only platform that had a clear idea about it. And I think what is so great about it is that there is just a lot of white space. And I think I would, from there, to start designing these like sort of empty tabs and adding space and just using 2-3 colors, and also using, which seems to be very important, the green and the red to distinguish.
I think one interesting point here, which I like about this ETF example that you showed, is that you actually have these mini charts. This gives you kind of a quicker understanding about whether it's up or down, right?
Yeah.
This little chart, I mean, even although they're tiny, that's actually really helpful, right?
Yeah.
So that's nice.
And I mean, I think they're just really good if you have a look here, because that's what they do, This is literally, I think, what we're after in this example, that you want to have these sort of lists and then you want to drop it down. And because you're going to know really well what you're after, there's going to be stuff that you're really not interested in. So you want this closed and you want to use this progressive disclosure to show stuff when it's relevant and have it closed away. So yeah, I think I would just like sort of jump in and have this first raw outline, and now just use not too much design. It would just be sort of UX fundamentals to have space, to cluster, to create areas, and make it a bit cleaner. And then with that, go back to a team that knows about the content, and then tell them like how to shift it around.
I also think maybe in terms of like, let's say, features, because when I look at, let's say, the table, I mean, it seems like it's almost obvious that we probably, like, given that we have so many columns, people will be comparing data. We probably need something like customized columns, show and hide columns, something like that. I don't think I see it anywhere. Right?
Which
I
columns?
mean, in the actual website, right? We just have this huge table, and I don't see a way to, let's say, move columns around or pin columns or pin rows, people to compare, because I think that most people will be comparing here.
That you're saying, let me actually see what these others here do, if you can, because it's true. I think there used to be like a compare feature, right? Look, that you have these checkboxes. That I think is a really smart one. That you have these checkboxes, and then you can compare the performance.
Yeah.
Don't know where you now would now compare it though. It's also a bit. But yeah, I think the would use that sort of filtering.
Yeah, so I think it's something like maybe this customize or columns button or something that would then open an overlay on top of the table to show and hide, and maybe also reshuffle the columns or also the checkboxes here.
But I mean, you're gonna get the results based. No, correct me if I'm wrong. You're gonna get the results based on whatever you choose here. So if you choose a different index, that's gonna give you them. And then you mean filtering them like by performance? Yeah. Again, sorry, I have to go back to this page. I'm not being paid by this page here, by the way. I'm just showing you because I think it's one of the very few pages that actually got showing data right. It's not easy. So yeah, they have this here. And I always think if you look at if you do filtering and you look at hotel pages, like if you look at booking.com, if you look at Immobilien Scout, if you look at all these things, because there's so much money in them, so much return in the actual page, they have fantastic filtering for those things. And so I think what they do here as well, you can filter it, right? So you can look at the yearly performance, and so you can do that. So that could be just a little, probably then say, let's add something like this. And then for my first sort of very rough wireframe, I could have another.
It would be fantastic.
It looks amazing. So I would have this filtering method right over here, and then I'd go from there. And I think I would just, that's usually the roughest outline I do. And then I actually jump in and I start designing it. And a lot of stuff just happens for me when you start designing it, because then you notice where can you add stuff, where you're missing buttons, where's space for opportunity.
Yeah, I think that one thing is missing, and Jeff is writing this in the chat as well. For mobile, maybe add a search box that allows the user to pull up or suggest the specific filters they want to manipulate. Maybe that would be actually a good idea to have a search for filters, by the way, given that there are so many.
That there's a search for filters. Yeah, I mean, Oliver's doing the mobile.
Yeah, Oliver is doing the mobile, right? Oliver, you ready yet? On it. Okay.
Give me a second.
Sure, no problem. I mean, Pablo, Oliver, in general, how are we feeling? Do we feel like we need to move somewhere in a particular direction? What do you think? Oh, Pablo, I think you're muted.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think it just makes sense. Yeah, having the tabs and like having this kind of layout that makes sense for desktop. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we need to like a Pablo effect there, creative boom, whatever, right in there to drag people in, to draw people in as much as we can. Do we need, I don't know, like a massive green tree or something, or a circus or balloons or something?
Maybe.
Okay, Pablo will come to that. We will come to that. Sure. That's great. Oliver, what are we thinking?
Yes. Well, what I like to do is when it comes to the visual design of things, I like, of course, to start with tiny parts. So what's the most essential part, visually speaking, for this table? And it's one cell. It's one cell with some text in there. So maybe starting from there and designing a few cells, how they will look like, and also how type is applied there, because this kind of is the skeleton, visually speaking, on which everything is built up and everything should work together with. So this is what I would continue with or do with.
Well, maybe that's exactly the path we should be taking.
Yeah, then let's
I
do
think
it.
because I like this hot potato where we just basically throw design back and forth. So Christine, maybe if you could share the Figma link.
I just put it in our link in our chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's
So
great.
you should be able, we have like here a little, sorry everyone, we have like a little private chat, so I don't have like 50 seats on my design file. Oliver's here.
Well, Oliver, let's see what you'll do here.
Okay, that's great. Now we're all in it together.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, feel free.
All right. So should I share my screen then?
It's shared anyway, but Christine,
you can also from my I'm just going to leave it on full screen if you want.
Yeah, but I also switch between tabs, so I think it's best if I also share.
Sure. Okay.
Let me just figure out how to do it. I could have.
Amanda
told me, but I wasn't good. I wasn't good in being prepared, I guess. So let's see. Now I guess
you just need to click on present, I think. Whatever.
I'm already presenting, I think. Yeah, Amanda switched. All right. So to be fair, I'm super overwhelmed by the new Figma design. I just got it a few days ago.
You can take my course, Oliver. It's great.
I should.
Cross-selling.
And then, yeah,
and
that's
you
great.
fix my typeface on the website. That's great. We could do a session about that.
Yeah, that would be a great collaboration, I guess. So, what did I do? During your explanations, I was just looking up typefaces, of course. I was just falling in love with what I really enjoy about the atmosphere here is this very contrasting, thick serif typeface that they are using for the title. This seems very sophisticated. It got some sort of authority attached to it, so it works very well. They kind of ruin everything then by the light theme. The dark theme kind of works better, obviously, but the light theme. The best thing is here, financial visualizations is not even visible because it is so, the contrast is just so light, yeah. But it's a logo, I guess. Is it a logo? Let's say, then it doesn't fall under WCAG.
I have to ask, what are we thinking about the typography of the advertising?
Of the advertising on the right side here, the crypto.
Well, everywhere.
Everywhere. It's much more attention grabbing, let's say.
Okay. Just didn't mean to interrupt you. Please go ahead.
All good. So, and now what would I do here on that side? When I'm seeing a typeface that I like, in this case, it's an image. So I want to find out what typeface this is. So maybe we can use it for the design. So what did I do? I used the Adobe Fonts possibility to upload here this image. It's like what the font from my fonts, but since I'm already a Creative Cloud subscriber, I can activate these typefaces when I look this up. So, and it kind of came up something that's quite close. I'm not so sure yet if it is that one. Let's type it in. What was the name at all? Fin what? Finwiz. Thanks. Yeah, there it is. And let's get it up a bit. There we are. So maybe this one it could be. It's close enough for now. So if it's not, and then I would add the font, and I would also need to see, okay, this is the text style of it, and there's also a headline style of it, interestingly enough, which I already added, I guess. And now when I'm on Adobe Fonts, I need to, of course, activate this so that I can use it in Figma. Christine, is there any way that Figma can use fonts without always having to restart?
Well, you do have everything that's installed on your local machine should actually pull it in right away.
Yeah, that's true. But if I activate a font, it's always the thing that it takes time.
Then probably not. I always use Poppin, so I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
And then all the Google, if you stick to Google Fonts, which you probably never will, then that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So then.
Yeah, that's because they're not Adobe, as we found out. So.
Yeah. They didn't turn into.
It didn't happen.
But somewhere here it's super Adobe. Yeah, there it is. So I have to install it so that it is then available for the other applications as well. And come on. And here I also should. Yeah, it's also installed. And then I need to restart Figma, of course. And then let's see what happens.
This is like when the 2 minutes are spent on choosing typefaces and then 10 minutes are spent on trying to figure out how to
install it. Yeah, nothing happened. We just downloaded a few fonts. Okay, now let's take a look at one individual. The other one thing that I want to highlight here is, okay, we can close all this. So this theme looks so much better than the other one, but yeah, interestingly enough, so here they use Lato, here they use Inter, and I'm using a neat plugin which is called Fontanello. It's a bit faster to identify fonts that way. You could also do it with the DevTools, but inside the table they use Inter. However, if you switch over to the light mode, they use Verdana, as I said. Why not? Yeah, so just use whatever there is there. Yeah.
But on the other thing, I kind of like the fact that we have the numbers, the digits actually, right, in the table right aligned, so it's easier to compare them. It's not centered.
Yes, that's smart. That's definitely smart. So it's easier to see. And the other thing is that, of course, you have, I guess you have red and green because I have a slight red-green color blindness. And in that sense, the minus is helping me. The minus is helping me a lot here. So it's accessible by that in that sense. All right. So then let's see what we can do and start maybe with one cell here, just as an example. For example, we could use, let's start with some numbers, just any numbers here, and maybe set up our cell as a Figma component then, and also the typeface. So here, let's stick to Lato, as they already have this established in their guidelines, somewhere here, somewhere like this, and then make a component out, add an auto layout around it so that it has a bit more space by default here. And when it comes to the type size, right now they are using 11 pixels. So it always depends on the typeface, of course, because 11 pixels in one font look different than 11 pixels than in another font. For example, if we have Lato here and we write Verdana next to it, you see it looks a bit different. And Verdana seems to be more, I think there's no kerning in Verdana because it wasn't possible back then. But Lato has kerning, and when it comes to our tables, we can definitely see if there are some lining figures. Yeah, there's monospaced uppercase lining figures. So when we activate this, everything will align. If we set things under each other and we have something like this, there will always be an alignment and we will not lose it. So
just easier to compare, right?
Yeah, it's easier to compare. And the problem is often number one, because it's super narrow, and the other, like in 0, is wider. The other figures are kind of the same. So in that sense, we could start with our first, let's say, table cell here, and this would be then a number. And let's just start with the table cell and then make this a component. And what do we, I'll move it out here. So we have it here, and in that sense, we could add a variation on it. And
Oliver, by the way, isn't it like, do we always use, do we use different punctuation like comma or full stop in different countries for numbers?
Yes, we have in English-speaking countries mainly a point or a period, and in other countries we have a comma for the digits. And yeah, this is something we need to take or be aware of when setting the typeface. But here in that sense, I also would say I'd add a style here for our table text. So let's start with that. And because creating styles from the beginning is always helpful for me, because afterwards I can edit this. A lot of people I found forget about this. So naming conventions are something else. We don't care about this yet. So let's just call it table text. And for now, we're good with that. And we will definitely need to adjust things later, but let's start with that one. And the first one, let's maybe just start with one row and add a border on the bottom here, adding a stroke inside. Why not? And then here we can adjust this. Everything's different. Not everything, but a lot. So, and without needing colors yet, just starting with the table row.
Aren't they actually, Christine, maybe that's a question for you. Aren't there like plugins for quick table generation or something?
Yes. Make this faster than I do.
Yeah. Wait, I'm just going to jump in.
I remember seeing something, but I don't remember which one.
So there is a really cool new thing. Did you use the AI thingy with the tables ever? So if I just say,
I think you should share again, because we don't see.
But I'm in your file. Aren't we in the same shared file?
Yeah, but we don't see what you type or what you click.
No. I got it.
We only see what your end result.
Amanda, you would have to pull mine over.
So that Amanda still has something to do.
So now we can see.
Right? Oh yeah, that's really nice. So I'm just taking over a second for the table generation. So let's say, what am I doing here? Agent, and well, I show you with fruit or something like that. So I'm just going to put apple, and then I'm just going to put I don't know, $3.99, $4.99. Others give me stuff for a table. What can I put there? box. I don't know. Things. Let me show
more
you with
numbers.
this.
whatever.
Let me show you with this really small one. So what we can do, if we turn this into an auto layout and I make it into a component, and then I go over here. So as soon as you have an instance, and then you have put more than one instance, and then you auto layout it again, then you're going to get this little magic handle here. And then you can just pull it down. And the cool thing is, if you have this, so just to get the idea again. So what you need is you just need a auto layout, then a nested auto layout. And what you can do now, you can rewrite this, and you say, change the table content, I don't know, to fruit stuff. I'm not sure if it's going to understand that. No, it didn't understand that. It does work well. I think also my example is a banana. And then I'm just going to change this here. I don't know why obviously you have to fix the auto layout, but what it happens now, if you have this handle, and then you can see, then it auto generates, and it should now generate different, and now going to generate different fruits for you. Can you see? So it's really nice if you have a table like this. So with your numbers, you just do the first one. And then you just tell it what sort of data you're using, and then you can use it. And then, I mean, the table, you just got to do it with auto layout, but you can also right click, and then you can ask it to, where was that? The new auto layout thing. To suggest auto layout. Wait, because this is now an auto layout. So if you have something, you can right click, and then it's going to suggest auto layout, and then you can also use that. Was that what you're after, or you're after something completely different than what I just explained?
No, I mean, for us, just the one helpful thing is maybe instead of Oliver having to kind of repeat the same cell over and over again, maybe there is a way to just have, I don't know, 50 rows with random data in them.
Yeah, but you would need to make the first one.
Let's make the first one then.
You need to make the first one, and then you turn it into Amanda. You can put Oliver back if you want. And if you have the first row, then you just turn it into a auto layout. You have two instances and group them again as auto layout, and then you pull it down, and then it understands the sort of data you're dealing with, and then it's going to give you random output for that.
Okay, well then let's start with that, and I'll just start by adding some stuff.
I feel like we'll bring in some order into this. I think eventually Pablo will join us in making it as weird and attracting and surprising as it possibly can be. So I'm very excited about that. So Pablo, if you hear, expect the unexpected. Also, feel free to just jump in the Figma file as well if you have more.
Yeah, but I've been just like working on the mobile version. It sounded like that was a task to be done.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Are we all in the same file? Like, if you go down, you can see some of the stuff that I started doing.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
Somebody worked.
Look, are you working away there?
All right. Thanks, Pablo. I'm off.
Yeah.
Okay. Pablo, we will get to you in a moment. So Oliver, let's do this type stuff first, and then we'll just jump to Pablo.
Great. I'm also going to jump in that file, and I'm going to do some filtering next to Pablo.
Yeah, so we are all working simultaneously. That's always good. The postman again, Vitaly.
Yeah, well, I think like it's busy days. But I think at this point I'm like going to be like a product manager and say, hey, Oliver, can you do this by tomorrow night to ship to the client? I'm just going to prepare an email to the client that we're almost ready, so we can actually send them like within 1 hour. Try to sell the idea before we actually have it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's. Okay. Well, and then we definitely need to see where things are aligned. So I have one row here where my numbers are, and another one where my text is, and the numbers are right aligned and the text is left aligned. So I'll do that by aligning them in the I just need to type in for content or something like that.
Sure. In the meantime, dear friends who are joining us and who are observing this, so you can also guide us in any direction that you feel is right. So if you feel like you would do this or you would do that, or maybe there is a different process suggesting, we're very much looking for your help. We have not much time to complete, like what, 40, 45 minutes to complete it all, all of it, and ship it to the client. So this is why I'm preparing the email to the client already. But we could use your help, I think. So let us know if you want us to kind of move in, or if you have any idea of what we can actually could do here to improve things as well.
So I go to Hug, but always taking a look at how, let's just start with one row here, for example. Make this maybe the same width. Okay. And here it's right aligned. And the others it's...
But the rest would be then centered or left aligned?
No, left aligned. We will left align the rest. But only the figures are right aligned. And just a bit interesting, this is not... so I created two variants. One is numbers, the other is text. So I choose text for the other ones here. And just put this in here. And let's see how this goes. Also for the AAA thing. Nice. Okay. Now, we would have one row here. Let's all make this fit next to each other. No, yeah. And add an auto layout again. Now, what did Christine say? Now I have one row. Now I need to make another. Should I use a component on that? That's also the question. Should I make a component out of one row, Christine?
I mean, that's a big philosophical question. Rows or columns? I'm totally for rows.
I'm also for, yeah.
So I'd turn it into a component. Pull out
you
two
would
instances.
Also, yeah.
Pull out two instances. Make them again into an auto layout, and then you can see if Figma understands that sort of content and auto generates you your data.
Okay, so we have two instances now,
and then you just auto layout that one again. Yeah.
Okay.
And where's your magic hand? Why don't you have a magic handle?
Maybe I'm not privileged enough to have one.
I think you totally do. You totally do. Let me jump into that file and see why you don't have a magic handle.
It says to me, I'm not sure. It says to me, if you mean
I have a magic handle. There you go.
I don't. I'm not good enough for Figma. So do it for me then, Christine.
I did it for you. The only thing it doesn't auto generate the data. Can you see the the table? So we get the table, but let's see. I'm just gonna detach that instance. You can carry on, and I'm just gonna try something. I'm gonna try telling Figma because sometimes what happens, you have to tell it once with the AI tool that it has to change the content. It might also be that it doesn't understand that sort of content. It's not like apple, pears, bananas, but it should.
Yeah.
So rewrite this.
Let's see.
What's that content called? Rewrite it to what content is it?
Financial table?
Finance stuff.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We all agree.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that there was an email that's coming in from the client? They want to change.
What?
Yeah, so if you look on the right on Figma, they send us a screenshot right there. So they said that they actually have structured and grouped all the filters already. And they feel like maybe if we want to keep filters this way, and maybe on the top, they suggest this way of grouping based on card sorting research conducted 7.5 years ago.
I think someone is manipulating this.
No, I don't think so. I think that this is like, I just got an email, so I have to share it with you at the PM. So maybe we can incorporate that. What do you want me to tell to the client?
Absolutely. We're done by tomorrow morning.
Thanks so much. We'll do a night.
Wait, I'm not understanding I'm not understanding the colors. Do they have a meaning?
The colors they didn't mention, no, but they kind of
Oh,
had
no.
that. Basically, these are the structure, the kind of the way of how things are smushed together. They are categorized and grouped because I sent them an email something like 40 minutes ago, but they are smushed together in the end. The filters.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So that helps us for the filters, but we're still not done with the row. So I
That's
don't
right.
care about the filters. Okay, I'll add another. So now I need to structure it in a way. So I'll add a different design for the next row by adding a background, a different one, a different fill to alternate between background colors. So I'll give this slight gray, something soulless or so in that sense. But maybe we could also take a screenshot from their beautiful logo type. So let's do that. And then, where is it? Put it inside the Figma file. And then I drop the hell out of it.
By the way, while you're on
where
it,
did the brief come from, by the way? Is that someone
Yeah.
who's
from the client,
watching?
of course.
Is
Yes.
it one of the briefs that someone is watching? So is it like an entire team that voted on that, watching us suffer?
Maybe, I don't know. This is something we'll have to figure out, I guess, after that, because we have to deliver, I think. But there is also another email that just came in that might be useful
Oh,
for
look
Pablo,
at
by
that.
the way.
We should start with another challenge.
No. I think this might
I thought we were going to do another challenge with pictures.
But Pablo, there is a message that came in. Apparently, there is a lot of inspiration that came in for the mobile view that was sent to us. This at the bottom, if you'll scroll all the way down to the Figma file.
I have to scroll there. I'm working here. I don't have time for you.
Sorry about that. On the right-hand side, there are some examples that they really like of filters in use on mobile. From Yahoo Finance, I believe the second one is Financial Times. And the third one is, I don't know, some sort of a screener or something. Like these filters jumping from the bottom.
Interesting.
Okay, but again,
Yeah.
so just have to respect again. I have to forward to you whatever I'm receiving. So
Yeah, sure. But isn't it your job as a PM to filter the filters from us as a design team?
well, that is actually true. Yeah. Okay. So sorry to interrupt you, but I mean this is something for us to keep on our agenda.
I feel so stressed, like not in years.
Sorry about
felt
that.
in years. Yeah. Okay.
By the way,
doesn't look
zebra
awesome.
stripes or not, Oliver?
Sorry?
Zebra stripes for tables or not? Are they still a thing?
Yes, they are still a thing. It's easier to orientate. Especially for longer tables. So you could get rid of it, but this is just a very subtle way of making these things more readable. There are people saying you actually don't need vertical lines. And I'm one proponent to say maybe that's not really necessary, because if it's all aligned text-wise, you don't need the vertical lines, but horizontal lines kind of keep it a bit clearer and cleaner. So in that sense, but I would also make not that one, was the text color. So, but I would also adjust the border of the bottom here. So it's a good part about the component. You always see what changes. Nice. So the contrast, this looks already a bit friendlier just by adjusting here the color of the horizontal line. A bit nicer. Not thinking about this color scheme yet. Now, Christina, does it work with changing the content of the table? Do you think?
No, because it didn't understand the things. What we could do is, where did you get it from? This Agile Technologies. What I can try, wait, let me try. I'm going to try once. If you want to carry on working, I try that in the background. If I copy it in by hand, because it doesn't understand the content.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So in reality, the AI feature is a mechanical Turk called Christine.
Exactly. Whenever you use the AI feature, it's me in the background. That's why they had to shut down the Make Your Design.
It was too much. It was too much.
It just looked terrible. I just copied other people's stuff.
Yeah, you were already to the moon, learning so much about copying and pasting.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down. I hate it.
Yeah, I think at this point, Pablo, do you think you could maybe show a little bit about what you've been thinking while Oliver and Christine keep going?
Yeah, please show something more exciting than the table.
Well, I think it's all exciting, actually. But
I made a filter.
Oh, apparently you don't have my camera. Okay.
Oh, now we do. Now we do. So if you could
there
start
you go.
sharing your screen, Pablo.
Okay, so present, share screen, don't show the tips again, and entire screen. Let me just, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's coming. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, like I'm trying to just start putting together the things that according to the brief, were the most important elements, or that they at least wanted to elevate, which is the screener, portfolio, and maps. And then from there, trying to make it more mobile friendly. I like one easy thing to do is just like reduce the amount of information you show upfront. I was seeing that this thing, just like at least I suppose on desktop, there's a space to do all of this type of information, but on mobile, maybe you want to show like is this stock up or down, and is this and potentially even with colors and just a small graphic, and also like telling you which how much percentage is it going up or down, and then I suppose this is the total cap of this. And then from here, like I was putting just like the idea of adding the filters as a side view, just like you open it from the side, and then the ability to search up. I'm just starting. Like
Yeah,
I
sure.
put together some components of like it will be easier to just edit. For example, here, I'm realizing that all of these are not. All of these should have been not bold. Anyway, just like some components for specific things, like the tabs, the button. So it has some just like some hover animations. Like this should just open this, and it should open it as on click. It should open an overlay. It should slide from the left, top left, and it should move in from the left, east out. Let's put 200 milliseconds. Let's add a background, and also let's put a little bit darker, maybe 40%. Let's call this filter. So it's so I wish I could, like, the thing is that somebody set this prototype as a MacBook, so I'm sorry, I'm going to change it. I'm going to put at I think I put 14 and 15 Pro, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to just like that's a little problem there. I always forget this thing, but we can just like fix that stuff, just adding a little bit of padding. But yeah, the idea is like start like actually let's go ahead and do that. The good thing is that we have everything on auto layout, so we can just add a little bit of spacing here. This thing is just like I don't know if I'm liking how it's looking. I guess I'm going to go with 12. Just make that search bar a little bit wider, maybe not as round. Then that means that this thing can be a little bit bigger too. Let's go with 40 pixels. Well, that sucks. Let's go with 40 pixels here, and let's enter it so it looks good. Now here on the sides, I think we can go with 12 pixels, and the spacing here on the top is going to be Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Of
that's nice.
course.
Fantastic. This is collaboration. It's at heart.
That's true.
Oh wow, that's weird that it would like here it looks good, but over here it looks like crap. I don't know why.
Wow.
Yeah,
Is Figma
let's see what's going
sometimes buggy?
on. Okay, weird. I don't know what's going on there. But anyway, like let's see what's going on here. Yeah, let's add a little bit of padding on the top here too.
Pablo, in general, how do you choose how to display filters? Like full screen coming from the down, from left, from right? How do you make that decision?
How do
Is
I?
it just hunch, or is it? Do you follow some sort of I don't know,
Well,
principle
uh,
rule?
well, I mean, here I think it's suspected that it will come from the left, as the button is on the left. I could see it also coming as a drawer, coming from below. That is a common pattern that has been introduced on mobile, coming from below, and that way is closer to the thumb. So actually, let's actually do that. I think it's going to look way better. So. So yeah, let me actually do that where this, instead of opening as a move in, is going to be, sorry, as a top left, I'm going to make it manual, and it's going to come from below. And then that way, let me just center it, but then the width of this should be the same. So this is 687. It should be, oops, sorry. This should be also 680. Oh, what's going on? Hold on. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
I don't think so.
And so now let's add a little around the corners here. That will make it easier to implement. And that way, if it is coming from below as a drawer, then we can do the same with filters, sort, making in the options that are here. Like if you introduce that kind of pattern, then it's going to be like almost as expected for any interaction that you add. So let's add a huge border radius on the top. And now potentially we don't need a huge padding on the top either. Maybe we can introduce something to allow the user to tell them that they can scroll it down. So I created a mini color thing here. So I'm going to use this here in the variables. I create a little collection of background subtle, foreground subdued. Well, 3 amounts of gray, and then one is specifically for border. So I'm going to use that one, the background subtle here. So I'm going to call this handle. And let's put it here. Let's put it all the way to the top, and that should tell the user that that this is scrollable. Now the spacing here is sorry, that this is missable, and then we can reduce this. There you go. So now when the user opens this, let's take a look at this prototype. And now let's add it here manually. There you go. Let's so now let's check it out. Ooh. So that sucks. It should be, oh man, where is it? Sorry. It should be that it comes from below. So let's change it. So now it comes from below, and now the user can change this. Now these things are not very easy to tap. They're kind of tiny. So I put them at a fixed height of 32. Let's put them at 40. I think that will make it a little bit easier to tap. So let's test it out again. Yeah, that's okay-ish, but apparently something happened here. I guess. Oh, these all have a fixed. No, this should be hug. Should be hug contents. Yeah, there you go. And that should give me a little bit better.
What do you think, Paulo?
spacing here.
Do we go for auto apply, or do we need an apply button or something here?
Sorry?
Do we go for like auto apply whenever somebody selects a drop down that it actually gets applied right away? Or do we need an apply button for filters?
Oh, I would expect, since the interaction is happening here, like I would expect, like, make the changes and quickly just click here and see them applied. And actually, something that will be like a good as a feedback to tell you that things are happening is, like, you can see in the background that things are happening. That usually that works and allows you to know that, oh, okay, my filters are being applied, and because you start seeing that the information starts changing here on the list.
What do you think about something like a reset all filters button?
Yeah, for sure. We could add it here, and I'm pretty sure that we could add it here. Like, maybe you start scrolling here, and then you realize, like, oh, by the way, this is not scrollable. What's going on? Oh yeah, we need to make this vertical scrolling, and we need to make this position fixed. That way, this is scrollable. This should be sticky. Let's see, scroll and sticky. So now, it's not being sticky. What's going on? Scroll with parent to sticky at the top of the edge. Oh, because that's the edge. So let's add more stuff. The good thing is that now with AI, I can add more rows. I don't know if that's what you guys were talking about before.
Yeah,
Doesn't
it's a
work
little
for me.
handle. We
You're
have it.
just so privileged, all. I think
I
that's
pulled
so
the little handle for you, Oliver. Your table is now also filled.
Yeah, so
Thank
hold
you.
on. Something is happening that is not creating them. So yeah, I can just like drag this. And the cool thing is that it understands that these are numbers, that these are tickers, and it even alternates up and down. And
Nice.
the only bad thing is that apparently this number is not relative to this. This is positive, but this here is negative. So anyway, it's just a dumb prototype. So
yeah. So everyone on the team, do we think like we can ship it in 30 minutes?
Yeah. I think if we do a final polish, I got some typefaces ready.
Okay.
I have some filters here, Oliver. You can jump over and add some typefaces.
So maybe let's Pablo do the magic in the meantime. And Christina, should we jump to you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Go.
Noticed as much as I love auto layout, I'm really not good at auto layouting when you're looking at me.
Yeah, it's isn't this all super frightening? Why?
You can have it all prepared, and then it's much easier. So I did some filters, Oliver. Actually, if you can jump in, because I just like they're still looking a bit ugly, my filters here. Yeah. And so what I did, wait, does it actually link back? Oh no, I lost. I messed it up. Let me just do this again. So what I did is with the filters, that because we have this new information you gave us down here. So I think what we can do is we have either checkboxes or we have a drop down, and we have it like these four. And so this is actually these sections. So it's actually really nice because we have these little groups. And so I thought of keeping it also time-wise, very simple, but clustering it. I just messed up something. So let me just get this one out of here. And then I would just add the filters like this. So let me just show. So this here would be, this would be the price metrics. And then we have price cash. And then another one. Let me actually get this together as an auto layout and just have very little space in between here. And then I want to just clean that up. What's happening here?
I think we should just do it every Friday.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Just take up a
I really wanted a Mars project. Yeah,
well, I think there will be time for that.
Yeah, don't worry, it's fine. And so I would cluster these ones that have these little clusters here. Let me actually see if they work the way I intend them to work. If I changed, yeah. So you can see that we can actually, like, if we had this as a prototype, so I'm just going to put them in there. And Oliver, don't you worry, you're totally responsible for the typefaces. I am not even pretending that there's any. I know you're not. And it's okay with me.
Too stressed, I can't look.
It could be worse. I think they also should be a little smaller. But we could now have the clusters that we were given here. Sorry, I have a bit of just going to move that down. I hope nobody minds. And we could now follow the clusters. And then we can have these different, because there isn't any one where there's too much in there, I think, having 3, that's like really great.
Maybe.
And then
we also probably have something like all filters or all something that would be kind of expanding if needed. Maybe.
Yeah, we can have like a little checkbox on top, because I mean, now what we can do, let's auto lay out this again, and I hope it works now, because if I open this now, sorry, Pablo, you have the...
Somebody needs to change it again.
What happened?
Pablo, do you mind if I take the prototype out for a minute?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry.
That's weird. Why does it not show me the... Oh, here we go.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So if we have it like this, then what we can do, we should be able to also like play a little bit with the filter. Oh no, I didn't put it. Sorry, I didn't animate it yet. I have to show you here a second, and then I can add the animation in the component set. So, but we can just swap it, and then we can like have them as a drop down, and so we can also see what would happen if everything is open or everything is closed. And for now, I just set them up in such a way, because I didn't quite get whether it's supposed to be checkboxes or selections. So I just set this one up as a component property. So we can also go inside of here, and we would be able, no, because I don't have nested property set, but with all of these, if we select them, you can see here, I can switch them on and off. So I can just make it into I think I would keep that separate as components in the real thing, but just for speed reasons now, if we wanted not to have checkboxes, I didn't quite get how they wanted it, we can just change that here.
And what do you think, Christine? Do we need to show selected filters? So would they be just displayed within that sidebar? So if somebody selects, let's say, 3 or 4 different filters, do we want to show selected filters as well?
Yeah, I mean, that is what we would have to think of if we have something. I quite always like if there's like a little pill thing up here, that you see them and then you can X them out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something.
Yeah, I think I would probably put it above the table, just because if it's on the left, right, but then
I mean, I think from a usability point of view, I would have some sort of, these little sort of pills, where you can now see if this one was selected, you would see it, and then you have a little X here, so you can just quickly delete them, because I think there's nothing more annoying than if you always get the wrong result and then you have to open and close all of these filters to find out what you're having. So we would have something like this. Look, Oliver, it's getting more and more pretty.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, look at what we have achieved in like what?
If I take this one away, it's not even that bad. And look, our table is working, by the way.
It's beautiful.
And by the way, anybody that gets stuck with it, the trick to it is that you have to set it up a bit like this. So you have to show it the repetition also with the background. Otherwise, if you just do one, it does. If you just don't do those first 2, it doesn't know which background you want to continue with. So you have to show it a little bit the pattern, and then you just got to fill in those first 3, 4 ones by hand, because this is just all you know what to tell the AI to fill in. And as soon as you fill that in, once you drop it down, it's then going to just auto-generate all the content for you. So it's obviously not going to give you the perfect data. I don't know if that all of that ABC, I don't think that's a thing. But at least you get a little something, that's a little more dynamic. And you can see it's more for us to see, right, with different spaces and things like that.
Nice. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Christine. That's an amazing update. This is almost V1 at this point. Oliver, what do we got?
We have so much. No, we have a few typefaces. I think, Amanda, you need to share again my screen.
Yep. So, dear friends, we have 24 minutes to deliver. This
Oh
is it.
God. Okay, final polish, I guess. I couldn't pay much attention, but I'll take the time to explain still. So, this super nice typeface for the title. I was looking for something that's kind of similar that I could find on Google Fonts. What did I do? Just to give everybody an idea what my approach was. I was going here on the Google Fonts index page, and then I was typing in Viz as a comparison. Then I chose serif and display as my filters so that I see where do I have a super contrasting serif typeface. So, and in this case, let's make it a bit larger. And when I was browsing through this, of course, looking at 174 or 5 fonts for Font Friday newsletters already kind of trained my eye a bit. So I'm super intuitive, like I just feel it randomly, and then it ended up with DM serif. So it's close enough. And in that sense, I used it so that my fellow colleagues here also can edit the text. Even though the typeface I found in Adobe Fonts was a bit more similar, this one is editable for the others because it is on Google Fonts and already available in Figma. Now, looking at this, when I look up, let's say this is our brand font from the heading, but we need something for the text. They already use Lato, and still it fits very well. I always type in mega typos. Why? Because a lot of typos here. Typo, yeah, on my shirt. No, a lot of typos always. And that's the reason. But you can also compare things like the double story A, double story G. You see if there are similar typefaces or similar letter shapes in there, so that you can see, okay, this is already more open. And in a way, Lato looks like a more simplified version of this super contrasting display style, which makes it a good fit. And this is what we want. So for our headlines, we can definitely use this very expressive one so that we kind of sharpen the brand and so on and so forth. For the other stuff, let's use Lato in various sizes, and 12 pixels is very small. Yeah, it's super small. So we need something larger for body text, definitely, or for other things. And we can see how this applies, for example, when we take a look at maybe just looking at the filters here from Pablo and just changing this to the type. It already kind of changes the vibe, doesn't it? It already looks, oh, this is elaborate filters. I want more of that. Interesting. Yes. And this is all just because of the typeface. Nice, isn't it? So then we have a little heading here. It is using Inter right now. Pablo, I'm ruining your stuff. Sorry for that. If you're now, come on, what are you doing? But yeah, I'm not even copying it because we don't have time. So, let's do the one with the table text. So this one would work as a heading. And now we already see that there are some flaws. Things are not working well because this is very, very hard to read and it is super small. So let's go for the body text one. This is easier to read, but it's still very cramped, and this is at 100%. Maybe filters is a bit too large also with the sizes. I'm not very happy yet. However, if we have small text like the body text in bold, we can adjust this one to make it a bit better by editing it. Come on, I'm super bad in the new Figma. I'm bad at looking at Figma right now in the new tools, new design. So we definitely need to increase the letter spacing a bit. Do you see the difference? So just by adding 3%, it becomes much more readable. It's a bit cleaner to see or easier to see here, because that's the trap. It's a trap. It's always a trap when you're designing Figma. You're zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out, but nobody's zooming in or out on your screen. That's not true, because people can hopefully use the browser zoom, but they should not. So at 100%, it should be already kind of nicely spaced. So in that sense, add a little letter spacing. And the other thing could be, what's interesting about Lato is it's quite light, and also Figma makes everything just so light and smooth. It's not ideal. Things look different in reality. Extra bold on the other end is a bit too thick, but let's stick with bold, which feels to me kind of for like a medium. Now let's take a look at this one. Pablo, is there a reason for the gray? You're muted.
I'm sorry. Like, it's just like I keep getting muted here. Yeah. What do you mean if there's a reason for gray?
It feels very disabled, so it feels very light in that sense. But you just edited it as
this thing. Oh yeah. This should be a different gray. I agree. But the good thing is that, well, this is as far as a thing, it should be a there you go.
All right.
Is that better?
Much better. Yeah.
Thanks
a lot. Thanks a lot. That's awesome.
I think also, Oliver, at this point, what are we looking at in terms of font size? What's the minimum font size for mobile then for Be Readable?
That's a good question, Vitaly. So when it comes to type sizes, but before we do the thing with the type size, you know me, I thought about this accessibility thing, yeah? And we have to check color contrast here. And you can see it works better. It's 5.83 to 1. So we need at least 4.5 to 1. It could be a bit more contrasting, and I would argue that maybe the subtle color for this component might be a bit too subtle, even since I cannot select things here. Maybe we could go for the dominant one, but it looks more designed. Let's say it's better to look more designed. So do we have a component for this one? I'm sure we have. Yeah, because we're all professionals here, aren't we?
Of course.
About the minimum font size. So if it's a user interface, 14 pixels, I think is okay. So we can go below the browser defaults because 16 pixels are a bit large. Yeah. Do not do sexting to 16 pixels. Yeah, it's a bit large. And here for that sense, let's make it 14 because we have a lot of information going on. And I think that works well. We could also, for input text though, I would say 16 pixels is necessary. So to keep it, yes. There's also the thing with, I think iOS will automatically zoom in if you type into an input field that has a smaller font size than 16 pixels. I gotta look it up, it's 16 or 17, but if you're below that, it will automatically zoom, and you don't want that because you want no overflow in your layout, I guess. So, and here for our other text, we have here these labels. I could have left it that way. All right, so hope that this looks more. You see what the title does here. It's so much more sophisticated. On the other hand, it's a bit too large again compared to the other stuff. So let's make it maybe 32 or something like that. Yeah. All right. So, and then maybe applying these styles as well to the other things here. Ruining everything Pablo did for us, but that's what we do.
And also when we're looking at the table, like in general, when I think about data table, like the one that we have, it's very dense. There's a lot of data, and it just probably shouldn't be surprising that people who are using it, like again, traders and investors and so on, they need to look at a lot of data. So I assume that they might have something like 50, 70 rows per page there. What are we looking in terms of the kind of still an okay font size for the data table, for a dense data table? How far can we stretch it to show more on the screen?
Yeah, 12 pixels in that sense is, I think, working. So to have that one. So, but I'm just updating. Things get a bit smaller now here compared to the design we had before. Maybe, yeah, let's see. Maybe we could also increase it a bit. The thing is, you imagine that a type size is working well, but then you apply it and then you see it in real life and then say, oh no, it's not as I expected it to be. And then you gotta adjust things. And then you see, okay, let's maybe increase the size here in that way. So it's not always so smooth. So, but once we have our size applied across the several places, we can see if it works. Table text. Okay. All right. I would still increase it when I look at it here, and let's look at it in the table. Yeah, and it's still very small. We should make our default not smaller than 13. Let's increase it. That's a good thing with the line height to 15. Just slightly more than the text height. We don't want A senders and T senders to touch if it's a multiple line text, but not so much. And on the other hand, we have here the table text. Again, what did I say? 13 and 15. Okay, and then we have our body text, and this, let's try 16 here and be surprised. Also for the body text, bold. And 18 line height. And for the table text, I did not increase the letter spacing. So you see here, it gets better, but bear with me for a second. Choosing the medium weight, boom! Regular, medium. Makes it just easier to read. We have smaller size, so less pixels to render. And if we use the medium weight, everything is a bit easier to read because there's more contrast going on for this.
7 minutes. We have 7 minutes until the call.
Okay, we talked too much about typefaces. Somebody take things. I clean up.
All right. Pablo, do you think that we are getting somewhere? Oh, Pablo muted.
7 minutes.
Still
1 second.
6 minutes.
So I started putting the details of one of these things. So how it will look once you tap on one of these and you want to see the actual details of all the things inside it. And then from there, just like let's go ahead and use. By the way, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's. Weird. Okay. It's doing some stuff, which is actually kind of good. That is like all the information that it gives you. I'm going to make these fonts. All right. Okay, we already have some fonts here. I'm going to argue that 16 for this kind of stuff is actually too big. But
all good.
It's since there's a lot of data going on, and usually the screens on mobile phones they're already pretty good and pretty sharp, and just like a 14 pixels, it renders them pretty well. Anyway, let's call this contents. And are we done? Like, is this
so we still have 5 minutes.
Let's fill the container. Oh man. Let's see if this selects all of them now. Let's see what happens if I put fill the containers. Yeah. See, boys and girls, this is what happens when you don't create a freaking component. I should have done it, made it a component. But yeah, like the idea is that I'm going to change the prototype to be a device again, and 14 Pro Max. Yeah, I think that's the one that we had. And the idea is that you click on this and then it opens all the information from that. I mean, I haven't added the way to come back, but yeah, and this is coming from what's that?
Who needs to come back anyway?
Yeah, you're in. That's it. Commit. But this is coming from this thing. If you go here, you start seeing this information where it's like the graphic with dates, the price and how it's been changing, and also all this information. So it's kind of trying to I don't know, put it in a mobile version. And you know what? Let's do something where let's do a back button, and let's add. Well, I usually wouldn't do this, but I'm going to cheat. And let's put a back button like this, and this should in the prototype just go back. So it should now go back, and it didn't. Hold on. Oh, that's because it's starting from here. So we go from here, and then it goes back. Okay. Now this thing is. I can see that this thing is coming from. I would expect it coming from the left, so that way it is like this, and when it goes back, it goes like that. So I think that feels a little bit better. That is like a cheat that opens like that. The only thing is that it has this thing here. It might not be important to have all of this stuff here. Anyway, yeah, just a little design here. And oh man, now I cannot go back. Hold on. Yeah, so we have the filters. We have this thing. You could argue that this could also open in a
Could
in a
be.
cheat.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I see that they're adjusting the fonts. So just so to make it a like that thing. I added also some details about like a making a scrollable this content, but keeping this. This is not scrollable because it's which by the way, like once you put it like this, it looks like crap here. But the idea is that it looks like this here in the design. And this is it has an absolute position, and this thing, well, over here is a sticky. One mistake that I was making is that I had put padding to the whole container, but I should have put padding to the heading only. So I just put padding to the heading, and that way the heading, the whole thing is a sticky, and I can just like keep scrolling, and then that way the filters are always there, and then this navigation is always there.
Sounds good.
And that's it. Yeah, sorry. And
That's
I
great.
added
No,
this.
that's great. Because
This
we have a
also.
meeting with the client in 1 minute, right? And so
Ah!
obviously, I would love to bring you on the call that call as well.
Hmm.
And so you will be imagine that you will be presenting to the client the incredible work that you've been doing over the last 2 months, and we have to make it sound promising and really well thought out, right? So I think we have a call coming in like what, like 30 seconds. That sounds to be exciting. Are we ready for this?
We have to, don't we?
Yeah, I think we are. So I think I'm going to start
Ship
saying
it.
Okay.
Ship it. Launch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Put it out there.
Excellent. So I'm going to start sharing at this point. And let's see. So, well, thank you so much, dear client, for bringing us on board. And we're very helpful and, well, we're very happy to participate in this magnificent project and bringing all of us and all of your potential clients closer to elite. And this is what we've been thinking. I have brought 3 remarkable designers here on board who spent the last 2 months working on this wonderful project. And I would like to give them maybe a minute each to explain the rationale and the decision-making process behind it, and why we strongly believe that this design right here will drive elite forward. So I think maybe I should start with the heart of everything, and that would be Christine, who has been spending nights and days and weekends working on
filters.
Christine, what do we have for us?
Okay, so let me just get this big. Can you see my screen? I'm just going to jump back to the prototype. So what we have with the filters here is that they're clustered according to the cluster we already had. So same idea that we haven't done these on the top yet. So we have some main filters, and then we get all the side filters here. And if I show them to you, then we can see here that we can open and close them at the same time, and we always get a good overview. And we're currently just working on, we were discussing how to highlight it, so either having little bubbles up here, or I was also looking into, which is maybe even nicer, that we can have it inside of here. So as soon as you mark a filter, you can untag it. But if you have all filters closed, that you would still be alerted with our new color theme, which we're going to present, that which filters are on. So you always, no matter if it's closed or open or mobile, you always have a good overview of what you're filtering.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Christine, for working on this. And then we had Oliver. Oliver has been spending a remarkable amount of time, our expert in terms of legibility, readability, and typefaces. And we've been scouting all the type foundries and all the repositories of fonts just to find the right way to design to display the information. Oliver, what have you got for us?
So yeah, thanks a lot. You're amazing people from Finviz. Yeah, we really enjoy how you want to take things forward here. We really appreciate that. And to visualize how sophisticated you are, obviously, you need to show your pro capabilities with some pro typefaces, obviously. And the thing here is, what remains on screen when it's not your type of information? Get it? Yeah. So in that sense, just look at this wonderful combination of typefaces, which conveys the atmosphere of Finviz very well. Just think of all the other poor products out there that are not so unique, because here, just looking at the filters, you immediately know that this is from Finviz just by looking at the typefaces, how they're used. Also here in large sizes, delicate weights, always working very well, giving you overview when you need it, well crafted. And of course, I understand that budget was tight in this one, so we chose some Google fonts. I understand. Eventually we will be happy with that, because yeah, of course you want to push this over. And yeah, I just can congratulate you on your great taste in choosing us. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Oliver. We also had Pablo, who's been working days and nights trying to figure out just the right way to present on mobile. Pablo, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so I should share my screen, right? I'm sorry. Let me put my screen here, entire screen. There you go. So, hey, we just realized that after looking at the data and looking at how people are using the app, we realized that there are some things that are more important than others. And since there's so much information that could be shown, but also all of that information could be overwhelming, we decided to just like minimize the amount of information we show up front and allow the user to dive in and just like go and see the details. So for example, here you can see one of the tickers, one of the these things. And then from there, you can go and see the details about the index, market cap, the volume, all of that stuff, and just like see at different stages, at different dates, like how this option has been this what do you call these things, the chair?
Sure.
I'm sorry. It is has changed over time. But also, let me just like quickly show you a prototype of how this is looking on an iPhone. So let me show you this thing. So as you can see, this is allowing the user to just quickly change the different filters. And as was mentioned before, we're clustering the filters in different groups, but we're giving importance to the most used, looking at the data, the most used filters that so they can find it, but still allowing them to show the rest of them with this other thing. And we can also make this a little bit learn over time what is actually preferred by each user, and then start showing those things higher on the list. But these are like what data has been showing us. And then from here, we also minimize the navigation on the three things that we want to feature in the application, which is a screener, portfolio, maps, but still the user will be able to see the rest of the stuff. And that's it.
Fantastic. Excellent work. This has been a tremendous effort by our wonderful team within the last couple of months. So we're very happy and very proud to present this work to you. And we're looking forward to the next phase of our project together, which is probably going to be a bit more expensive. Maybe we'll be going to Mars and explore the Mars project there. Well, thank you so much, Christine and Pablo and Oliver, for this. I know that this has been under pressure and under time pressure, and also under everybody's looking behind your shoulder, seeing what you actually are doing there. But I think we should be very proud of the results. Well, you should be. I didn't do much, right? I mean, Oliver, you didn't go for Comic Sans, so that's a good call.
I got enough stress for the rest of my life today.
Well, there will be also another Friday. I'm sure we're going to do that right there. Well, thank you so much for this. I hope that this was also fun, everyone. This is it. We need to celebrate our release somehow. Cake, balloons, anything.
Water for me. I need water.
Water, excellent, fantastic. Well, if you want to celebrate with us, we have more things coming up, because we will see most of the speakers at Smashing Confs that are coming up. And for that, I think I need to bring in, maybe I can hear the client is already gone, but there is a Yarain here somewhere lurking in the background, maybe? Yarain? Yes.
You lurked in the background all the time.
Yes. And how do you feel about this incredible effort of this incredible team?
I would have just hired them like this.
Right there. So by the way, maybe also available for hire. So just saying.
Yeah, very good.
Maybe a bit more expensive than in this project.
I must give a little bit of an extra round of applause for them, because if I'm honest, the briefing I gave them and what you eventually make of this event, Vitaly, are not really the same. So it was fun.
Well, we never promised fun.
It was definitely a creativity test, and I want to really deeply apologize, Oliver, for making your stress level so high. But I really enjoyed it, and I must say I was surprised by some stuff. I did not kind of expect Pablo to be a fintech wizard, so that was a new side of you that I hadn't seen yet, Pablo. But I'm quite happy to get to see another side of you, because that's why you have me here. We're seeing multiple of you. We've just seen Oliver in Freiburg, and we're seeing Pablo and Christine in Antwerp in a few weeks. I'm super excited. I think the talks are going to be a little bit more structured, and I'm really, really excited about that. For those of you who are listening in and think Antwerp is not maybe really that practical, we also have a fantastic conference coming up just in 2 weeks in New York, which is front end and UX, and Antwerp is design and UX. So super excited about that. And once again, I want to thank all the speakers for being not only flexible, but being extremely flexible.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I mean, we didn't know what to expect, but I guess we need to follow the vote of the public. And once the public votes, this is it. We have to follow along. And I mean, from my end, also huge thanks to Christine and Oliver and Pablo and everyone who is joining us in the chat. Could you please send a round of cakes, I guess? Any kind of sweets, cakes, dessert, I don't know, pancakes, whatever. We accept everything for the incredible work that they've been putting together. Well, thank you so much from my end. The client is happy, and I think they might be hiring you for phase 2, right? So let's see how this goes. We need to negotiate a little bit. Oliver, you think like you'll be in?
If the client's happy, I'm happy.
Excellent. Christine, do you feel like this is it? This is going to be a project for the next year?
Absolutely, absolutely. Maybe it's more quiet component working on the details.
Okay, okay.
At
And
least we
Pablo, I
set up
see.
some components.
There's some components in there. They're even interactive. What more can you ask for?
Excellent. And Pablo, do you feel like you'll have like a fully finished mobile view in like what, 2 hours?
Maybe half an hour. We'll have it.
Okay, that's impossible than I thought. Okay, but this is not required. The client is gone for dinner anyway. And I think that maybe most of you who are here already will be maybe also looking for dinner. So here we go. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much again for coming. I hope that this was also fun. It was also useful for everyone to see. It was very impressive and very useful for me to see how the magicians are playing the violin and everything behind the curtains. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, everyone. And I think at this point also hope to see you all again very, very soon. We have the 2 conferences coming up, one in Antwerp and one in New York. So if you happen to be around, please drop by. We still have a few tickets left for both. All right. Thanks to everyone. Also, thanks to Amanda, sitting behind the scenes here, taking care of all the technical stuff and everything. And also, I think Karis is also lurking somewhere in the background. And of course, Ryan too. All right. Thanks, everyone. Hope to see you again soon. Any maybe final words of wisdom from anyone? Like one sentence from each?
One thing I'd like to add. There is also an accessible typography workshop hosted by Smashing coming up.
It's the workshop.
right.
True.
Yes, yes. So in that sense, we will also go into these details, see how we space letters and do all the stuff for UI design. That's looking neat eventually, and also then being accessible, obviously. So
how could I forget?
Shameless pun here, yeah. Just filling in for your memory, Vitaly.
Beautiful. I appreciate that. Maybe Christina and Pablo, one sentence. Like imagine somebody watching this 20 years from now thinking this is how they did design back then. What would you like to send as a message to the future? Christine?
Yeah, I think it's very true what you say. It's like, I think my kids, sometimes they walk in and they're like, what are you doing? There must be something to do that way faster. So yeah, probably. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen there with the new Figma features coming. And I'm also doing a workshop, which is up there. And
That's right.
by the way, I'm also working with the new Figma UI, and I didn't find nested instances today. I was looking for it for 10 minutes and gave up. So you can come to my workshop if you're also struggling with it, and we'll be with the new Figma UI and going very slowly over 5 days through all the Figma features.
Fantastic, fantastic. And Pablo, message to the future generation?
Message to the future, like hopefully you were able to see how here in the past we still had to design things and we had to push some pixels. I know that you in the future, you just let the robots do it all by themselves and you just like think the things and then they just happen in front of you in the screen. Well, back in these days, we still had to use a keyboard and a trackpad and a mouse. Yeah, we're old school like that. But I hope you're enjoying the robots doing all of the designing for you.
Beautiful. Well, on this optimistic note, I would say, well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. All the wonderful attendees, of course, who stayed all along. And I hope to see you again soon, in person or online. And again, round of clapping, please, to Christine, Oliver, and Pablo here. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you next time.